What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And I've already uploaded one version of this, but I've added some new machines sent to me by the folks over there at Arcade1up. These are review copies of the machine, but I wanted to show you guys my arcade at-home setup. I've turned my kitchen into a dream arcade. These are the Arcade1up machines. This is my complete collection with 3 new machines I added today, and I want to show you guys all the new games, all the new art. See what you guys think. Now, for those of you who saw my previous videos, you're going to recognize most of these machines. There's only 3 new ones, but there's the Rampage machine, which again, I love this machine. I love the games that are in it. My biggest complaint, I never did get the Gauntlet board replaced, so that's something I need to do, but I haven't played Gauntlet to the point that it bugged yet. I still hate that it's a 3-player game, and as you can see, I have no intention of ever trying to play it 3 players, because we've actually put this one up against the wall. It's just too crowded. Pac-Man remains my favorite one. I'm loving Pac-Man. It's absolutely amazing. It's the one I play the most often. Galaga, once again, an amazing port, an amazing game. I just love to play. These are the 2 most played machines so far. Street Fighter is one that I think me and my friends play the most often. I actually set it in the middle, and that's where my cord management is. You'll actually see that's where all the bricks and the plugs and everything else are. But it's actually kind of nice to have it set out a little bit because it's a little easier to get to the controllers when you got 2 players playing. This is the machine that I complained the most about when I got. And again, it always comes down to this stupid spinner and this stupid ball. Even though I've adjusted the spinner so it's a little bit better, I've adjusted the ball so it's a little bit better, I still have a problem with this machine. I do not recommend it. I'm glad I got the Deluxe though, because this is literally 2 machines in one. So it saves a bit of space in the room. And as you can tell, we're running out of space. But then that leads me to the 3 new machines just sent by the folks over at Arcade1up. We have Final Fight, and this is a nice collection of games. Final Fight, 1944, Ghosts and Goblins, and then Strider. And when it comes to, I've never played 1944, the Loop Master. It's an okay shooter. All of these games are classic Capcom quarter munchers. So when it comes to like Final Fight, we'll talk about this a little bit later when we do the gameplay. But this is one of those games that really just kind of, I don't know, the more quarters you have access to, the easier the game is. If you guys remember, there's a little attack that allows, well, we'll talk about it. All of the Capcom games are quarter munchers. So it's kind of frustrating to play these games at home with unlimited quarters. Next up is Space Invaders, and just like Pac-Man, just like Galaga, this machine does exactly what you expect it to do. It only plays Space Invaders, it also plays Space Invaders in color. You gotta be a big Space Invader fan. Fortunately, I am, and it is a very decent port. It's a lot of fun, but kind of a boring machine. I don't see a lot of people wanting to pick that one up. The one I think everybody is going to be the most interested in, though, is the Mortal Kombat 2 machine. Not just Mortal Kombat 2. Mortal Kombat 2, and of course, the ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, the darling of the entire series. And this machine really looks the part. That's why I put this one all the way on the end, because it's got the Mortal Kombat 2 with Raiden on the side. It just looks fantastic. So this is my current collection. I want to eventually get the Karate Champ machine. I skipped the Golden Tee machine. I just wasn't interested in it. But here it is, as it is right now. The art that we have put on the wall to turn this into a very traditional arcade. Yeah, 10-year-old Boogie is living his dream. So these are obviously review copies, and I want to talk a little bit about these review copies. If you can see, they included the little plastic ridges that protect the art. On the older machines, there is no such protection, so it is entirely possible. If you've seen, like, here, you can actually see my Pac-Man machine is beginning to wear a little bit, with a little bit of wear and tear. You can order, for the older machines, you can order the plastic guard for like 10 or 15 bucks, 16 bucks off of the website. I never have bothered to do it, but I really need to, especially in the machines that I'm playing a lot, because it is very easy to scrape off the art. The newer machines came with these in the box, including the Mortal Kombat one, so I'm pretty excited about that. I think that's a nice big improvement. They did not come with risers. I ended up purchasing risers from Walmart for like 50 bucks a pop. When it comes to the art, I mean, the cabinets definitely look the part. These look realistic. They look like the arcade ports. They're smaller. I think 3/4 size. If you don't put on risers, they are set down only machines, so keep that in mind. But I do like to play with them on risers because I do like to stand while I'm playing my arcade games. I mean, they're just gorgeous machines. They really, really look the part. I wish I had them further apart so you could see the side art, but there's just not enough room in my house for a collection like this. I'm glad I can fit in what I have. When it comes to the screen, it's really hard to give you an impression of how good the screen is. I mean, it looks the part. Mortal Kombat 3 plays exactly the way you expect it to play, just like the arcade port, and the screen looks decent. It's hard to capture that with a camera, but I assure you, these machines look really, really good in real life. You can stop by GameStop to see in real life. Is it traditional? Does it look exactly the way it would have looked in the arcade? Absolutely not. We are playing on an LED screen. And I do have a few complaints about this machine, but for a casual user, I'm not gonna lie, it's not a bad little port. Once again, I think the weakest point, especially in the Mortal Kombat machine, the buttons are fine, exactly what you'd expect. If you played the Street Fighter version, and you probably have if you're interested in the Mortal Kombat version, then you're used to that. I feel like this 8-direction joystick is a little looser than I would want it to be. I'm often finding myself moving left when I'm trying to duck, so it's a really surprising issue that I've been having with it. I feel like I'll get used to it given time, but this stick feels very, very loose to me, especially compared to the arcade, because I played this game very recently at my local arcade, so it's going to take a little bit of getting used to, but it's still good enough to play the game, absolutely. I just, again, don't expect 100% arcade replication here, but it's not a bad replication. It's really not. Now, like I said earlier, when it comes to the Final Fight machine, again, a beautiful art, beautiful port, a great way to play this game. But if you guys remember, all of the Capcom games tend to have a little built-in cheat mode. Hagar here, when I press these two buttons, will do this spin attack, and it will cost you life to use the spin attack. But it doesn't matter, because when you have infinite quarters, you can just do this ad nauseum. And it's true of all of the games in this one. Having infinite quarters, infinite continues does kind of take some of the fun out. But if you just want to experience the game, you just want to play it, or you artificially set your number of continues that you're going to allow yourself to have, you're going to get a more traditional arcade experience. But for the most part, it's a great way to actually beat a game that you would not otherwise beat. You would never actually beat Final Fight or specifically Ghouls and Goblins any other way. That's one of the hardest games ever made. Oh my god, look! I'm in the game! Look, me and my twin brother! That's what I would look like if I was bald. Hooray! I will also say, when it comes to the Mortal Kombat machine, when it comes to the Final Fight machine, we have played these multiplayer a little bit. We've had no crowding issues. If you don't have crowding issues with your Street Fighter machine, you're not going to have any crowding issues with these. The only one I've ever experienced crowding issues with is, of course, the Rampage machine. 3 players playing, I mean, who's small enough to do that? Definitely not me and my fat friends. But other than that, yeah, I think these are the 3 better machines they have put out. Mortal Kombat, I think, is now my favorite. Final Fight is very, very good. Space Invaders is... I mean, Space Invaders. You know Space Invaders. There's not much you can say about that. It's a 40-year-old game. It plays exactly the way you would expect. And I will, once again, until they have revitalized the spinners and the ball on the Asteroid and Centipede machines, and when it comes to the Rampage machine, which is just too crowded, those are the 2 machines I would say I could have done without. I'm glad I have them. They look nice. And I do play a lot of Crystal Castles, and I do play a lot of Jousts, so I'm glad I have the machines. But at the end of the day, I don't think they're worth picking up. Big thank you to the folks at Arcade1up for setting me up with all of these machines, including these 3 new machines for review. If you want to pick up one of these 3 machines, specifically the Mortal Kombat one, these machines have been showing up at Walmart. So you can actually pick up this machine right now if you want to. I think it's a decent machine. And again, as I said, who are these machines for? Someone with a lot of space in their house, a lot of disposable income. There's much cheaper and there's much easier ways to play all of these games on the same screen, on the same machine. Raspberry Pi exists. You've got to be a crazy person like me who wants to have a massive collection and eat up a huge chunk of your home with your arcade. But I'm just that kind of crazy. I'm just that kind of crazy. But the one thing a Raspberry Pi could never do, one thing an emulator can never do, is look the part. And if you want to impress yourself, you want to impress your friends, if you want to have an at-home arcade, this is the way to do it. Arcade1up. If you've got the time, you've got the money, you've got the space, why not? All right, here we go. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you guys think about my at-home arcade? What do you think about my choices of art for the room? What do you think of my choices on machine? As usual, thanks for the folks at Arcade1up for donating these review copies to allow me to review them and bring them to you. Guys, let me know which is your favorite game in the background, which looks the best, which one would you want to have in your house? Let me know. And I apologize for the lisp and the bruises. I'm still recovering from surgery, but I really wanted to get this video out. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you again soon. Until then, happy gaming.